Hi, I'm Chris Blackburn.
Hi, I'm Rob Hawks.
And this is Training Tuesday, 30 minutes every week of complimentary practical sales training. Good afternoon, how are we doing?
Very well, thanks, Chris. How are you? To cover today's session. Chris, what are we covering today?
So today we're going to run through a bit of an overview of the 6-step process to building rapport professionally. So normally this is Rob's part, but if everybody can like, comment, share, and subscribe across the socials, that would be awesome. So we're going to run into professional rapport building today. As we always say, this is a very interactive session. So in Zoom, across Facebook, if you can just chop a quick Y in the chat just to let us know that you can hear us. We're obviously very big on people networking with one another as well. So even if you just drop in there your product, your service, the industry you're in, or if you've been a part of our training, your elevator pitch, and let's see whether you can connect with somebody else that you might be able to offer value to. But today we are going to run through professional rapport building and a full overview.
I like that actually, Chris, talking about the networking opportunities. One of the things that a lot of people found really useful inside of the 14-day challenge was those opportunities to network with everybody. Why is that beneficial, do you think? Why would that be a good way to sort of increase your network perhaps? What are the positives of doing that?
Yeah, I guess it's a cheesy way, but your network is your net worth, right? And like you say, inside the 14-day challenge, I feel like we've got nearly 700 people in there at the moment. I guess law of averages say one in 700 potentially could offer you value, or vice versa too. So me and Rob are a part of a business networking group that we attend every single week as well, and been able to get inside that group and be able to network not just with them, but also their connections too. I find it's super powerful.
And big up the BNI crew. Hey, if anyone wants to come along as a guest on Thursday or Wednesday for Chris's one, please feel free to reach out. It's free at the moment, and you get to network with 50 plus business owners. So the reason why I was asking that was actually to sort of focus a little bit on the rapport side of networking, because obviously over the last few weeks we've been talking about the 6 stages of professional rapport building, and we get a lot of people ask us around networking and how to approach it. Chris, how did you find when you first went to BNI, as an example? For those of you who don't know, it's a group of 50 business owners all connect every once a week. You pass referrals to each other, get to know each other's businesses, and so on and so forth. But pre-COVID, you meet in a room, you rock up. That could be quite intimidating for some people. So, Chris, how would you apply what we've been talking about over the last few weeks to a networking event, rapport building? What would you kind of look at, or advice you would give to some of our guests inside of the training today?
Yeah, I think well most salespeople, and let's be honest, we're all in sales regardless of the role, the industry, whether it's personally or professionally. I feel like rapport building is just one of those most critical skills that any professional can develop, and I feel like you essentially do it from the outset, like rapport building is from the get-go. I guess while we're taking notes as well, Christine Sharkey, love your elevator pitch in there. Thank you so much. If people can follow suit, you never know who may need to look at their quote conversions as well. So if you do, Christine is certainly the person to connect with there. Absolutely. So appreciate you doing that as well. But I guess just on that, for me, just open it up for people taking notes. It's just 2 real quick practical tips that I personally use whenever I'm looking to build rapport, and I feel like it can go into any interaction or any engagement that you're looking to go into. So I guess the first one, just to put it into perspective, again, the acronym, Rob, if you want to drop that in, is BBETS. That's what we're going to be covering throughout the whole of this session. So relating it back to the 6 stages. And the first step of the first letter B for Bravo is breaking the mold. So breaking the mold is utilized when we are making a winning first impression or getting our foot in the door. But I don't know your opinion on this, Rob. I feel like breaking the mold can be done in consultations, in proposals, in follow-up. We're always breaking the mold and doing opposite to what the customer's expecting, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think doing the opposite of that, or not necessarily doing the done thing. Difficult when you're walking into a room of people you don't know. I think a lot of people will find that quite intimidating. They might not necessarily know what to say. Maybe just on Facebook, or maybe in the chat here on Zoom. Just maybe pre or post COVID. Going to networking events. How do you feel? Like how are you excited by going to a room full of people you don't know? Have you got your sales goggles on and are you ready to really maximize the opportunities, or are you just petrified of it? Because next week we're going to be actually talking around the 4 stages of social rapport building. And I find that that'll be helpful if you are looking to really understand how to strike up a conversation with everybody. But from a professional networking perspective, would love to just know how people feel about that. So just pop in the chat, like if you were to find yourself in a networking event, what's your go-to? Do you do the same thing? Do you shy away? I feel like the toughest thing that I struggle with would be to knowing who to go and talk to. I think you're really trying to go to find the right person, because I know that you get a limited amount of time. I find events difficult as well sometimes. When you've got like a room full of 200 people, it's like, well, where do I start? Jared has said, I've got, I'm not going to try, but I'm going to want to introduce myself to a few people while I'm there. Josie's just said, was petrified at the first time as I didn't know anyone. Yeah. That can be quite intimidating,
And I think what Rob said there, just to sort of unpack that as well, is we are building rapport from the get-go and the outset, and we can use that to get our foot in the door or just open a conversation as well. So having your go-to would be the first sort of recommendation that I'd certainly give today. And what I mean by that is having something that you use every single day. So as an example, what we're referencing there to a networking institution, on a Wednesday morning is when I attend mine. So if I'm speaking with a new potential prospect, and I guess putting this into perspective, if you was to call your family, Rob, and let's say you called your mum and you said, "Hey mum, how are you?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm doing really well. How are you?" And you say, "Yeah, I'm doing really well actually. But the reason for my call today is," we would never do that. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like having a go-to just builds that human interaction. So on a Wednesday, I can say, "I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning. I've been a part of a networking event from 6:30 till 8 o'clock. So it's been really productive and nice and busy too. So how about yourself?" So I'm looking to build rapport from the go-get, So on a Wednesday, I will use that. Other days, I'd just sort of plan before I start calling what my go-to is going to be, instead of just going straight into the interaction.
Sure. And also something that Ryan always talks about in regards to everything that we say should lend value towards the 3 verticals. So
100%.
Myself, company and product, MCP. And if you're starting it off nervous or uncertain, then it could actually come across that you're devaluing. And Natasha, I hope I'm saying that correctly, on Facebook said sort of levels of empathy as it would be, or I agree with that. I think understanding people's situations around you, where you're at. I like to at least try to build some level of value as quickly as possible. When someone asks me how my day is, I'm not just going to say busy. Been busy, because everyone's busy, or we're always busy, but have we been productive, and so on and so forth. I did a lunch and learn this afternoon with a company, InSync Technology, and they were talking around building scarcity, or lack of urgency. And I mentioned that there is possible that you can do that from the get-go. I can, when I'm introducing myself as the head of coaching, for example, talking around how, booked out my diary is, would suggest that we're busy. We've got a company that's got lots of individuals on our books. So making sure that we are being quite mindful of what we're saying in those opening interactions, because you never know who could be in earshot. If you're a bookkeeper like Josie, for example, or you're suggesting that, well, a lot of my clients at the moment are calling me up with all sorts of questions around tax time. That plants the seed around, okay, well, you're busy, which means that you must be good at what you do. So subconsciously, you're already planting seeds around you and the individual. But like Chris said, you also want to make sure that you're not alienating the social aspects as well, because we obviously want to make sure that in a social setting we don't just talk shop, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. So, and I guess the second sort of practicality around that can be used networking, it can be used for just general conversation control, is a 3-step process called ART. We technically use it around overcoming an initial objection, but this again is something I probably use 50 times in an interaction. It stands for acknowledge, respond, transition. So acknowledge, respond, transition. And what that basically does is just aid that sort of conversation control. So if you're going in with a go-to and having the ART framework, you're able to then keep the conversation moving while gaining 100% control as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the fact that gaining control doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. You know, we talk
it's
about...
not a demand. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you know, go get a pen for me now. Do you know? It's totally different to that. Like, obviously we don't teach that sort of stuff. You know, it's really different.
Yeah, but also then I appreciate that there are struggles with rapport building where how much do we, or how much time do we spend on the social aspect? Where do I start to drift into? For those of you who are in our training, you would know that we have the jungle and the desert, either side of gathering intelligence and building rapport on our negotiation ladder. So making sure that we don't stray too far into conversations that might lead us down the garden path. You know, you could be, there are certain people that you might open up a can of worms with who start talking about politics or some other topics which you might get stuck in which case you've wasted that minute, for example, where you could have been building value in you and what you do, and then miss out on an opportunity to say, hey, can I grab your business card? Why not? Let's talk later. I mean, you see the Gold Coast Suns jersey behind us came from a connection that was made in networking. I had a couple of interactions with with their sales manager at an event, and I made sure that everyone was was unique and made sure that we hit it off quite quickly. I also added him on LinkedIn as well. So just making sure that I was in the forefront of his mind after the session. We reached out, and and they're one of our partners. So it's
they're winning now too, Rob. Can we claim that?
We absolutely can. Gold Coast Suns have a 100% win rate since interacting with ISR. Important point here that Josie's made. She said, "I try not to sell myself, but I join conversations and introduce and then listen." I think that's important. If you're not comfortable in going all guns blazing, I think there is also that humility that's involved in in doing so. I think that's what Natasha has said about being able to help with boundaries as well, because we talk about knowing when to take and give advice. That's a big rapport breaker. Yeah, has anyone ever been in a situation where you met someone and they're already telling them how you should do things better, or or how you can improve X, Y, and Z, and it's like, I don't even know who you are, and yet you're telling me. So a quick yes in the chat, or why on Facebook. Have you ever been in that situation? Because
I'd be surprised if you haven't.
You're that person.
The real importance, I guess, of rapport building. It's a connection or relationship with somebody else. It takes time. Rapport is a process that sort of develops that connection. So it's much easier to build rapport with somebody who's very like you or shares a lot of interest that you do. We always do business with the people that we know, like, and trust. So being able to ask the right questions that we'll obviously hopefully allude to. We're 15 minutes in, Rob. I don't know if we've got a chance to get through everything again that we were looking to cover today, but that's literally around breaking the mold and I guess the importance around rapport building personally and professionally as well.
Oh, I didn't realise we were still on breaking the mold.
We're on everything.
But no. But I get what you're saying. I think I think, as like we said the other day about building an overview for people to be able to follow. It's not about what we're saying that works, for every single person. It's about finding what works for you. Like Liam, who's in here. Hey, Liam, personal trainer. Here on the Gold Coast. If you want to check out his Instagram and reach out to Liam there, but he wouldn't necessarily go in straight away and start to tell people how they can improve their health or fitness. He needs to be able to, as you say, get to know them a little bit, find out as salespeople. Remember, our job is to establish whether or not there is a sale to be made. If you take anything away from today, you've all got your notes there, then that's your job, is to understand, is there a sale to be made today? Have I got an opportunity to present my offering to someone? Because if not, then we shouldn't be presenting, to them before really understanding even just a little snippet as to whether or not. And that's why I think that in building these relationships that we do, building rapport, common ground with people, we start to understand whether or not they can help, or we can help them, and then effectively present. It might not happen straight away. You might meet someone at an event and you think you can help, but it might take a little while before you've got permission, as it were, to actually present your offering.
And that's it, Rob. I feel like in life, obviously, we're always buying or we've been sold to. As a prime example, just on the back of what you shared there, not this weekend gone, but the weekend before, my partner Ellis convinced me to get a dog. I wanted a Staffy and a Rottie, so we ended up with a Cavoodle. So you can probably get an idea of who was sold to there, certainly myself. But the reason I share that is I put in a post for quotes to get a dog trainer. This will hopefully make sense. So I put in a quote in a website to get a dog trainer. Now I had 10 responses in 60 minutes, 10 people wishing to quote my job. 1 out of 10 decided to pick up the phone and give me a call. He received $300 for 2 hours worth of training.
Okay.
So the difference around the power of rapport building is just that general human interaction. I don't know the names, the business names, the emails, the contact numbers of any of the 9 companies, but the one that I used, I will now refer to my friends and family. He picked up the phone on a Sunday afternoon and said, I'm just doing admin in the office. I know it's a Sunday. Do you mind if I get a better understanding of what you're looking for? He was the only person that called me, and he was the person that got the job.
Excuse me. So what's the lesson there for everyone watching that then, do you think, other than just to pick up the phone and speak to people?
Get the dog breed that you want.
Yeah, no, I like it. He broke the mold. He did something a bit different.
Does that make sense though?
Yeah, absolutely. Did any of the others call you since?
No, I don't. No, I've only ever had 1 call. 10 quotes, 1 call.
Maybe they Googled your name and thought he's a sales trainer, so I can't talk to him. Josie said, Chris, you know that they train you, not the dog. But
I need that too, Josie, so I'll take that.
But no, I think the point being is, and it's something that we've emphasised over the last 6 weeks, is the importance of building a relationship.
Sure.
I think some people do find it quite scary to pick up the phone and do it. And you're getting some love on the dogs on Facebook as well, Chris. But I think that we as salespeople, as professionals, we've got to understand that there are always going to be lots of other people that can do what we do. We know that we're not the only sales trainers out there, and we know that of all of the individuals that are inside of these sessions today, we've got marketers, personal trainers. So we know that you aren't the only people that can do that. So you are the unique individual inside of your offering. So we should really do what we can to make sure that we build the best relationship. And even if they don't decide to go with us, that's okay, because they can be going away with a memorable experience of who we were. And perhaps maybe later, as we've seen time and time again with us in our training, we never force or push anything onto anybody. They'll come back because you did right by them the first time. And I think that's really important, that again, maybe as a bit of interaction, if you've ever walked away from a conversation, not bought but gone back later, I'd be interested to find that out, because I feel like I have on many occasions, based on the fact that the person, hey Mark, thanks for joining us. I feel like it's important to establish that, because there is time now, and we're of a consuming generation. We love to consume, but we want to make sure it's with the right people. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. I don't know if you had any. I'll just check Facebook, see if anyone agreed with me on the on that. Yeah, we've had a couple of people to say they have had those experiences. So walking away, but so going back to the what we've been covering, excuse me. We spoke obviously around tonality. We covered a little bit around that. Had some comments afterwards around truly trying to understand that. For me, we obviously have that understanding of it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. I think also understanding the importance of how you're presenting and what you say and do and whatnot. But that was something that we got a lot of feedback on. People really wanted to unpack. So perhaps maybe in future sessions, we'll have a little bit more into tonality. Obviously, if you're in the academy, there is an abundance of content inside of there to go over not only this topic, but also all of the other topics as well. So if you are wanting to dig a bit deeper into that, make sure you go on and watch. Ryan's done a couple of webinars on tonality and tonal deliverance. And if you want to have a laugh, go back and listen to me do words, no tone. My favourite bit of our seminars we used to do.
And just on that, around the presenting, this Thursday, for people in Zoom, it'll be on Facebook, the ISR Training Facebook page, so jump on there and have a look. I'm actually going to be doing a Q&A with a gentleman by the name of Anthony Lay. If you're presenting more, if you're wanting to promote more clarity or just build confidence, I won't build Anthony up yet, do some research into who he is, but 4:30 this Tuesday. 4:30 this Tuesday, Queensland time. I'm going to be there as a student. I'm there to get as much knowledge from this guy as possible. So yeah, that'll be on Facebook on Thursday afternoon.
Facebook Live. How do I spell his name? Sorry, mate.
Anthony Lay, Laye for Echo.
Okay, Anthony Lay and Chris.
You got Anthony, right? You can spell that one.
Yeah. Got it. 4:30 p.m. And for those of you who are also wanting a bit more of an interaction later on in the week, we've got our director Ryan Tuckwood going live with the founder of Living, Sam, and we're actually going to be doing a session around mental health in the workplace. It's going to be on Facebook Live later on in the week. So really important topic. I think it's close to a lot of people's hearts. And we actually had the guys from Living come in and do a session with the team. And I found that really, really helpful. That's why I wear this purple. It ain't weak to speak, speaking up on mental health. I don't know if you share that, Chris, but I found that very, very helpful as well.
You can't get behind a better cause for me. It's Men's Mental Health Week, so get behind them. Do some research into who they are if you don't know them already. Living, that'll be an awesome event. 8 a.m. on Friday across ISR's Facebook as well. So yeah, check out Living. Give them a like, give them a share. They're just an amazing cause.
I think as well, like we and I think when we did the session with the guys around understanding the stigmas attached towards mental health. I spent many years working in the social care industry. It's what I studied at university, and I didn't realise how important, or not how important, but how prevalent it was inside of business as well. It's not restricted to just business, and obviously on Friday we're going to be talking about that in the workplace and things to look out for and practical ways to be able to help people. But if you want to drop them a Google, Livin, and I would really recommend tuning on Friday with Sam Webb and Ryan. It'll be a really good session and a well-worthy course. So hopefully we'll get some good attendance on that, because it's definitely so Mandy, that one is on the one with Ryan is on Friday, I believe, and the session with Chris is on Tuesday. Is that next
Thursday?
Sorry, Thursday next week. Sorry,
this week.
I put it as we'll have to edit that comment. I can't multitask. I'm a bloke. I don't know why I'm in charge.
You can't multitask, Rob. So yeah, Thursday and Friday this week. So in 2 days we've got 2 events back to back. Pretty much.
And then I've just had a text message from Anthony. Hey Anthony, saying sorry I was calling you while you're alive. It's my fault having the phone on here. So and I think in summary, it's it's great that we obviously have a great we've got 13, 14 people here on Zoom, and and half a dozen or so on Facebook. But we really appreciate everyone jumping on and watching and commenting, and we really hope that you guys take a lot from this. We'll continue to do these sessions as long as people are getting value from it. What have we got coming up on Training Tuesdays then, Chris? As obviously we spoke about next week around, we're going to be finishing off the series on rapport building on the social side of things. So after that, what are we going to be focusing on?
Yeah, we're actually going to run through a full sales process series, our negotiation ladder. So we obviously seen a lot of industries now, very fortunate to work across so many different, sizes and industries as well. And we start to see that there's been a bit of a corner shift, there's a lot of industries opening back up and really, really ramping up their marketing and things like that. So me and Rob found it important that we're going to run through the full sales process from start to finish, including rapport building, understanding the client's needs, presenting your products, overcoming objections, how to follow up. We're going to cover that over a few weeks as well. But as Rob said, next week, we're going to go through the 4 stages of rapport building socially for you guys in the academy. Me and Rob have broke down B-bets individually, 30 minutes a session, big picture questions, tonality, third-party stories. Have a jump back in, download the podcast, have a listen in to that as well. But yeah, over the next few weeks, we'll be doing rapport building and the full sales process.
Someone did ask me, that's a good point, Chris, about the audio of this. So if you are in the academy, if you go to the downloads section and then click on Training Tuesday audio, you can actually download this as an MP4, so you can listen to it as you're walking the dog. Maybe not right now because I think he's a pup, Chris. If you're walking the dog, if you're driving, whatever it may be, you can actually download the audio of this. I believe they only stay on Facebook for a short amount of time. All of the sessions that Ryan does and all the podcasts and bits and pieces that we're going to be doing, that will all be in the academy. So obviously, if you're not in the academy, feel free to reach out to us. We've obviously got our big end of financial year sale on at the moment. It's 50% off. 50, that's 50% off. And we're offering more coaching than we've ever done before. So whatever option or version that you choose, you're either going to get 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours a month worth of coaching. That's group training with myself and some of the other trainers. If you are already inside of the academy, you can 100% absolutely renew, and your year will just tick over from whenever your year ends. And then you can still take advantage of that offer, and that'll be going literally until midnight next week. Prices will be going back up. In fact, they're going to be increasing even more than they were before because of the nature of the increase in coaching. So, end of financial year special. Go onto our website, Instagram, Facebook. There's plenty of information out there. Or alternatively, you could just reach out to either myself or Chris on LinkedIn, YouTube, and ask any questions that you have around that if you aren't already inside of it. So, hopefully that's cool for everyone. So. And don't forget the 6th, so 2 weeks, the next 14-day challenge will be rearing again. It will be coming up. Chris, for those of you who don't know what the 14-day challenge is, do you want to explain it very briefly, just to those who are watching who've maybe never done it before?
Yeah, for sure. So that's inside of a private Facebook group. Hundreds of people. I think we referenced before, nearly 700 people inside there. It's delivered by CEO Ryan Tuckwood. It's 14 days, 14 challenges, live events, networking opportunities, and it's just in there to grow your sales. It can be all the way from goal setting through to daily structure, through to closing more transactions, through to discovering the client's needs, understanding personality behaviors. It's packed full of content, but it is 14 consecutive days. Around 15 minutes a day is all you need. And thank you, Josie, as well. It's awesome. Really, really appreciate that. You just got to have a look at the people inside there and the results that goes for itself. That's not our job to even sell that. It's 14 days, it's $97, and it can just, even if you're inside of a training program, that can just be the reset for me. I think little challenges. I've just joined one at the gym now, a 6-week challenge, because I need a challenge to give me that little nudge. Is a nice way to say that. So the 14-day challenge is very, it isn't full on, 15 minutes a day, but the results you can get and the people you can connect with, for me, is we're very proud of what we've achieved with that.
I second that. I think Chris is right. I think the community that's involved in the group is great. And, even if you are already inside of the academy and you haven't done the challenge, I'd highly recommend. We offer a full money back guarantee on it as well. So if you watch every single video, you engage fully and you are not satisfied, we will 100% refund you the $97, because we know that if you do engage, you will get a lot out of it. So, all right, well, that's it for Training Tuesdays this week. Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure. Glenn has just said, Rob, you are forgiven. Chris said it was both Tuesday and Thursday, so maybe we'll have to go back and watch the.
I don't know about that.
Oh, we'll have to go back and watch the recording. So, look, thank you to every single person. We really, really appreciate it. Remember, next week, 5 o'clock. 4 stages of rapport building. Jump on, take advantage of the 50% off if you haven't or done so already. And we will look forward to going through the social rapport building. Thanks to whoever Galaxy S8 is. I don't know who that is. So,
get out of my head.
Whoever that may be, you can put your name in there and we'd know who you are. Yeah, thanks to everyone. Chris, it's an absolute pleasure. And look forward to having you back in the office. You back tomorrow? Thursday. All right, mate. Well, I'll see you on Thursday. Thanks, everyone. And really appreciate your time. Take care.
Have a great evening, everyone.